Hi. Good afternoon. Good Sunday afternoon. I know I'm starting just a little bit later today. I had to clean off and write on my whiteboard here, or my board in general. So let's take that out and put that right here. And can we see that all right? I guess that's okay when I turn the camera. Okay. We'll just wait a hot second because I know I'm slightly late, which isn't very good, but that's all right. Hey there, Jared, sweetheart. Hi, Clariston, sweet pea. It's lovely to see you. Is that Bree that I see as well? All right, welcome to Sunday's afternoon lesson, and we are going to be learning about accelerated healing today. Now, I know a lot of you I love seeing you, Clariston. You're so sweet. I know a lot of you have already joined in on some of my older lessons and so forth when it came to how to heal the vessel and so forth. However, this is a very important lesson today because I want to really show you how to utilize your horriance and utilize your energy to accelerate the burning off of foreign bodies inside of your vessel. So, if you have... for example, if you know there's a cold or the flu going around or some sort of virus that's going around, and you want to protect yourself by burning it off and using your own natural defensive systems that you have, this is going to be the class to show you what or how to do that specifically. Now, also, it will also work is for example, if you have been forced or coerced or put under duress to take a certain vaccine or vaccination, there's a lot of shit in that. And I want to teach you today how you can burn that off, because I'm getting quite a lot of individuals who are just like, if I take this, what's going to happen? And they're feeling like, because it's a tracking system. If you've ever heard of the anime Psycho-Pass, and what happens in that anime is it's set in a society in the future where individuals they have little things inside of them. They have a past inside of them where the authorities are able to measure their levels and they assess whether they are dangerous or not. And if they are assessed as dangerous, they have every right to shoot on sight or to dispose of this individual. If their heart rate elevates at a certain pace, or if they're looking like they are at risk of being dangerous in any way, they get taken out. So, for example, if there's something like that going around, then we can learn how to burn that shit off. Okay, so let's have a look here and let's get started. So in order to understand a little bit more about how to accelerate your healing, you need to understand more about what the energy is doing, right, at that very time. So a lot of the times when people think about healing, they look at what's going on in the on the TV, or like superhero movies or something, or you're watching just one of those supernatural movies where, oh, they have instant regeneration and healing, and they're just like, yes, my arm is now back and everything, and ha 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 ha. Right, and that's the kind of perception that a lot of people have when it comes to instant healing or accelerated healing, and it's not really quite like that. What's kind of going on when you are accelerating healing using your energy is you are flooding your vessel, or flooding, well, it could be your whole vessel or an isolated area, depending on what you're focusing on. You're basically giving that area a lot of your own energy in order to, that's weird. Sorry, I just got a notification. So you're kind of giving that energy out in order to neutralize or isolate or figure out what it is that's going on to stop it from happening. Hey there, Orthoa sweetheart. Welcome, my dear. Alrighty. So let's have a look here at my whiteboard. So accelerated healing. We're going to be doing this in 5 steps and then some troubleshooting at the same time. So going through, of course, identifying what it is that you require healing on, whether it be in the material or whether it be in the ethereal. This is really important, right? There is no difference between the ethereal and the material. If you are faced with a virus or an issue ethereally, which is negative energy, entities, fear, and so forth, that is going to cause material deterioration to your vessel, right? In whatever way. This is why there's a lot of people, if they are struggling to express themselves, they often have a lot of throat issues and a hard time breathing and so forth, right? Because that's part of the expression, and that's where the energy needs healing. Like, I was the same way. I never expressed myself, and my cancer was flourishing in my lungs until I did something about it, right? So, and vice versa. Something in the material could happen, and if you're not addressing it, it can link to the ethereal at the same time. So really, the first step in any sort of healing is, or whenever you're going to apply, energy to any specific place, you got to identify where you're putting it. Otherwise, it's kind of like, oh, I want to, I got a cut on my arm, so then you just splash Band-Aids all over your entire vessel? Of course not. You got to isolate the area. Okay, step number 2 is focus and visualization. So when we go into that part, we're going to be doing some exercises today. And when we get on there, we are going to need to really use our focus and our vision. If you are finding that you are like, man, this is going to take a decent amount of energy. So if you're a little tired today, or if you're just generally like not really up to speed on your visualizations, then you may find that part a little bit more difficult. However, I still recommend giving it a shot. Or giving it a shot. The next step is open your eye to be free. When I say open your eye, I mean open this eye to be free, right? Because let's face it, a lot of us have not had medical training. Some of us have, but not all of us have had medical training. And because we've not had medical training, we sometimes will confuse what it is that we want to accomplish with what we've seen on TV. So like, any things like that. So for example, when I say open your eye and let it be free, it means that when you're healing and when you're using your visualization, especially for example, when I'm healing tissues, right? I will have to open my eye to see the tissue and allow it to reform in the way that it's naturally going. Because to be honest with you, I can look at the entire nervous system and where all the tubes are going and everything, but I'm like, yo, that's way too much information for me. So I'm just going to flood the energy, open my eye, and I'll let my vessel decide where it wants to put the energy to accelerate that healing, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. Hey there, Keys to Sweet Pea. Thank you so much, Ortho. I appreciate that. I appreciate you too. So Lisa, this isn't the kind of lesson, this isn't really the kind of place to be that we can discuss that at the moment. However, if you did want to discuss what's going on with your mom, you're more than welcome to book a session with me if you like. Otherwise, this is really a time that we're going to be discussing just the healing practices and how you can focusing on yourself and how you can heal yourself. Hey, Tamiki Sweet Pea, lovely to see you. Hi, Nicole Sweet Pea, it's lovely to see you as well, and everybody else that has joined in the meantime. Okay, so opening your eye to let it be free. So again, allowing your vessel to do with the energy what it's going to feel is right at that moment, rather than you kind of being like, oh no, tissue is supposed to grow straight when it's trying to grow in somewhere else. Okay. The next one we have is step number 4 is direct the energy and the healing. So how do we direct the energy and the healing? Well, that's when we are, whenever we're trying to accelerate something. So we're in the driver's seat, right, of the car of healing. And to direct where that healing is going, we need to be in control of the wheel, right? So we need to know what we're trying to do. So if you have a cut on your arm, we'll just take this. If you have got a cut on your arm and you're like, okay, I want this to heal. So now we're going to direct, because what we really want is we want the wound to be cleansed and closed, right? We want the skin and the cells to come together to close the wound. That's what we're really trying to heal. So that's where we are directing this, directing the energy for that specific healing at that time. All right. Okay. So Lisa, if you've got the COVID virus at this very moment, then this is a wonderful lesson for you, because as we go through the visualization, as we go through these steps, follow along with it. See if you can identify the bacteria that is causing this, and isolate it, and you're going to be able to burn it off. So I'm hoping that everybody gets to be able to do that today. So you're in the right place for today, my sweet. Keys to self-healing, much needed. Thank you for... Oh, of course. My pleasure. All right. Then we're going to go down to number 5, which is keep or maintain your focus. So feel the vision manifest. Now, this is really important, because a lot of people, what they're going to do is they... That's fine, Lisa. That's fine. I hope you do very well and take care of yourself. Bye-bye, dear. Okay, so let's have a look here. So yes, keeping and maintaining the focus, right? So feel the vision manifest. And so this is kind of like one of those times when things are, when you're trying to make something happen. So let's say you're trying to close up that wound, right? And you're like, okay, I want the wound to close, and you're focusing there. You have to stay within your focus to allow that to close up, right? You have to watch it all seal away until in your vision you see a clean and clear cut that is no longer there, until you see your regular skin. But however, a lot of people, what they do is they leave before that's happened, right? They don't maintain their focus on the area that they're trying to heal until it has completed its bit. And don't get me wrong, that's a little bit difficult, because especially if you're not used to doing healing or accelerated healing in this way, it literally leaves you in a way, you know, or like try to bake a cake without allowing it to stay in the oven for the entire time. It's not really going to be there. It's not really all going to be done. Aurora, you're also sick? Okay, no worries. This is a good class for you, dear. Okay, and then step number 6 is release, right? So once you have literally went over all the bits and pieces, and you've followed it through all the way, and you're like, okay, now in your mind's eye, in your visions, you are completely healed there. Now it's about letting it go, right? Because if you continuously focus on that area, right? Again, I'll take the cake analogy. It's like trying to bake a cake and rebake the cake, right? It already has enough energy. So if you keep focusing on it over and over and over again, your focus is going to say, when you have already said it's going to heal, but then you go back to it and now you're telling it that it's not healed. So it's kind of like your vessel of the energies is like, wait a second. Are we healed or are we not healed? Like, do you want me not to heal it so that I can heal it again? Or are we healing it, or what's going on? Right? So again, really important to release and just be like, I'm going to let this shit go and watch how it flows and watch how it does its bit. Hey there, Mars Sweet Pea. It's lovely to see you. Okay, Claire Stem, I'm severely coughing since a few months. Okay. Again, let's identify where that's coming from. So those are the steps we're going to go through. Now, troubleshooting, right? Troubleshooting. If you are finding that the results change, or that there is a lack of results, again, that's another thing that happens. People are like, okay, I'm going to do the healing. It doesn't seem to work, or things aren't going the way they thought it was going to go. And like literally, then they lose confidence in their own ability. They start questioning themselves, and then they start to look for alternative things like drugs or prescriptions or this and that. See, my ear just started, like as soon as I said that, it's like, Burr! And I'm like, all right. So drugs or prescriptions are those kind of bits and pieces when they don't see the results of their healing. Now, if you are not seeing results of your healing, it's usually because you need to understand the process of healing. And I'm going to give this analogy to you, all right? You are like a droplet of, or I want you to think of a droplet of water, right? And you know when it drops in and it has ripples, right? In the center, those ripples are biggest, and then they gradually ease out. Everybody knows what a water ripple looks like, right? So now I want you to think you are the center of that ripple, right? What is going on, what you are consuming goes straight to your core first and then ripples outwards. And this is where patience is really required. Patience, understanding, consistency, and knowing, right? Because when you are, I'll give you an example. You know, when people are trying to, this is one, when people are trying to be healthier in their diet, or where they're trying to be healthier in their lifestyle, you know, where they're just like, okay, it's time to lose some weight. I need to get fit, and I need to do that stuff. They oftentimes see the outward ripple. Now, I want you to think the furthest ripple away from the core, that was one of the first ripples, right? It's way, way out there, but it is not at the core at this very moment. So as you are feeding things into your core, right? Or let's say you're trying to lose weight. This is why consistency is needed, because you're seeing the results of the previous shit that you've been doing. So if you got a cut, or like if you're a little overweight, or if you're just feeling unhealthy, you're feeling the ripple of the times that you made those decisions at that time, and this is what it has manifested because of it. So when you are looking at your own healing, it's kind of like, okay, well, today I'm going to start to be healthy. I'm going to start to heal myself. I'm going to start to do that. That decision has now been effective as of right now, right? However, it's going to take some time for those ripples to come out of your vessel so you can see it on the surface, right? And again, when people are just like, oh, I don't see any change, well, that ripple hasn't come out yet for you to see. So you got to be patient, and you got to let the process happen. But if you're trying to change that part, if you're trying to change that ripple within you, then you're really making decisions off of an old layer, right? Or an old ripple rather than the core that's inside of you. So I hope that made sense in the way that I said that. I actually would have loved to draw that out, but I know I probably would have confused you and myself even more, even if I did, right? Almost have to fake it till you make it, as you say, Keiston. You made that pact with yourself a couple of days ago. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, sometimes the faking it till you make it, that's a good way to go through, but also I look at it as well, you know, ignorance is bliss, but awareness is a blessing kind of thing as well. And when we fake it, sometimes we are trying to force something that isn't working for us, right? Rather than just being like, let me use my knowledge to know what's going on, and then I don't have to fake it. I simply have to be, right? But anyway, we'll go now. So also, if you can't feel or visualize, right? So as you are going forward, and you're going to be doing this more, reprogramming versus faking. Yes, exactly, Ortho. Thank you so much, dear. So let's say you are having trouble where you're just like, okay, I want to do this accelerated healing, but I can't feel anything, or I can't get the visions going. I can't seem to get all of these things going, Kulip. What do I do? Well, if you are unable to feel that part, it's because you need more energy, or you're lacking the sufficient amount of energy in this moment to catapult your healing. So at that point, you're going to actually need to look at your energy consumption, which doesn't, yeah. Anyway, that's off the board because I got the... So again, you're going to have to look at your general energy consumption, right? So you may be already... So kind of like, you know, if you have a cold, right, or the flu, and think of when that shit really hits you and you're in your bed and you're just like, you don't have the energy to accelerate your healing. You have the energy to simply just sit and let it process. And so when you build that extra, then you can give yourself a booster. But in that moment, you need to rest, and you just need to like feel it and let it go. So again, if this isn't working, have a look at what you are doing with your energy. All right. On a day-to-day basis, what are you consuming? Are you eating high energy foods, or are you eating low energy foods? Are you consuming consciously high energy things, or are you consuming low energy things? Like, such as high energy things would be things that provoke your curiosity, that you are interested in, that bring you joy to focus on. You really get something out of it once you have focused on it. So whether that be a program, whether that be a conversation with a person, whether that be a book that you're reading, or anything like that, right? If you're just like, wow, I feel uplifted afterwards, then you know you're gaining a good energy, or you're building energy that can be used for healing. It can be used for manifestation. It can be used for a lot of things at inner work, and everything. However, if you are consuming things like, if you were to sit and watch the Kardashians, for example, you will be drained of energy. There is nothing in there that is positive. Like, don't get me, well, mind you, that is from my perspective. Don't get me wrong. If there are people who are just like, no, I learn a lot of business acumen, I learn lots of stuff from the Kardashians, and I'll be like, all right, you go out and do what you do. But you should feel the benefit of it. I think you guys know what I mean. All right. Keystem, my biggest challenge is broken neck as far as healing. Keeps really causing lots of pain. Messes with the head. Yes. Okay, so again, bearing in mind, the more complex the issue at hand, the longer the healing process is going to be. For example, it'll take a day to heal a cut, versus if you are healing your teeth, it's going to take years, because it takes years to build such strong like cartilage and bone and everything like that in order to produce this for you, right? So your neck, although it's soft, there's bones in there, there's so many the sensitivities and nervous systems and tubes and wires and this and that is so incredibly delicate, right? That it does need more time. It happened 33 years ago. I feel you. But you know, if it was, if the healing didn't heal, kind of like, you know, if you healed, like if your hand broke and you didn't get it set and it healed like this, right? So technically it's no longer causing you as much pain. It still hurts. But to get your fingers to loosen up, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of stretching. It's going to take a lot of patience, right? So instead of it taking 10 years to heal, like, you know, or to open up, you can accelerate it for it to take a year, right? Does it mean that it's going to be accelerated to tomorrow? No. It really does depend on what it is, right? So with this, I'm going to suggest that when you're visualizing, I'm going to be showing you how to go to bacteria and stuff today. However, if you're like, no, I want to focus on my neck today, then focus on your neck too, right? But again, we're going to go, did not heal correct when happened at all either. I'm not surprised at that, because again, so many individuals, when they have an injury to their spine, to their neck, to their head, these are very, very delicate areas, right? And a lot of surgeons don't like to touch those areas because they know the shit can get fucked up real quick, right? So it's really, really good to allow your vessel to heal yourself, but by also maintaining or supporting its healing at the same time, which does come with lots of rest, but also, you know, clearing out, not being stress-free at the same time. And a lot of people, when they're healing, barely get the rest that they need, and they're full of stress, right? Which I'm just like, that does not help with that does not help the vessel. Yes, accelerated healing can be intense and drain you momentarily, Orthoa. You are absolutely right, because you are literally, so if something was, if you broke your leg and it would normally take 3 months to heal, and you're trying to accelerate that, the energy, it still is going to take 3 months worth of energy, but you may be cutting a month off or cutting it in half. So now you're going to have to produce a month and a half's worth of energy in that one moment to accelerate it. That's right. Yeah, that freaking drains the shit out of you. Like, geez Louise. Okay. So yes, if you're having trouble with the visualizing and the feeling, have a look at your energy consumption though. Like, you've got to build it to use it. And that was a good example, right? You know, with Orthoa, if you are accelerating yourself, or if you look at it in money, right? If your vessel needs $100 to heal you, and you want it to be done in half the time, well, you're going to have to pony up $50 worth of that energy up front right now. So if you've got a lot in your bank, man, you ballin', just like, yeah, I can heal whatever I need to heal, right? However, if you're low on funds, you'll either have to wait the appropriate healing time or get the energy from somewhere else, which is, of course, doing the things that you love to do. and you say, thank you, I know you can give me advice, that's why I'm asking, I'm exhausted with myself, need help. We need consistency. Yeah, I agree. And I'm happy if I can be here to do so. Righto. And then lastly we have don't know what you're seeing. This is a really common one too, you know, when it comes to healers, or just to be honest, as you are going through this process, you may be like, okay, I'm following what Kulip said, I'm opening my mind's eye, I'm visualizing and so forth, and you'll be like, what the fuck am I looking at? All I see is goofy stuff. What is this? It looks like wires, it looks like this, I don't know what the fuck I'm seeing. And trust me, I've went through those moments too, where I'm just like, what is this? So if you do come to a moment of what is this, right? So firstly, this requires a lot of trust in yourself, because if you're just like, okay, I see what it is, and then you switch your intent and your focus to, instead of, oh, normally if you saw tissues or something, you'd be like, okay, I'm just going to imagine those tissues nice and sealed up and healed up. But let's say you do come across something that looks like a cable or a wire. That shit does happen, right? And if you come across something that looks like a cable or a wire, you may be like, I don't know what it does. Is this what's wrong, or is this what needs healed? Or do I need to get rid of this, or do I need to do this? And at that point, you focus on your heart and you just be like, all right, I'm just going to flood it with energy, or whatever it is that you're seeing. Just imagine that the energy is going and trust that your heart's going to take care of it. And at that point, you just kind of watch it like a movie. Right? Hey there, Vladimir, sweet pea. It's lovely to see you, honey bun. Oh, and Elio as well. Welcome. So yes, that's what I mean by you don't see. Now, how to solve this part is you need to get curious and gain more knowledge or awareness. So I'm not saying that accelerated healing is easy. All right. So let's sort that out. I'm definitely not saying that accelerated healing is easy. If you are unaware of something, gain the knowledge. So at first you can trust your heart and just be like, show me what it is, what needs to come through, and you're watching it like a movie. Be aware of what you're watching. You know, take that in and just be like, oh, I saw a cable. The cable, when I said to heal it, it burst, or it frayed and it was cut. All right, so I know that was something that was not supposed to be there. And now my awareness has increased. Then when you see it another time, you'll be like, ah, right, I see the cable, cut it. We know what to do. Or perhaps you're just like, I'm feeling this in my leg. I'm getting the fact that it's muscles or it's tendons or this and that. And you're just like, okay, well, I want to better visualize a visualization of this, and I need more assistance with it. Let me just Google what the inside of a leg looks like. That's what I would do. I would have a look at the vessel and just be like, oh, these are key points. So that when I was looking at it ethereally, I could be like, I recognize that as your liver, or I recognize that as a tendon or a muscle, or I recognize it as a tube or an artery, because I saw it, right? So there is a little level of research that goes into it, depending on your curiosity and what it is that you are seeing. But everything can be identified. I can definitely guarantee that. Hi there, Latanya Sweet Pea. It's lovely to see you, and Juan as well. All right, so let's just make sure we are here. Never thought of doing that with a neck. Makes much sense. Yeah. So I totally recommend that you do that as well, Kista. Like, look at pictures of the neck. Learn about the neck, right? See it so that when you go into this and you're like, all right, what's wrong with my neck? You can see it and just be like, oh shit, that's what's there. And you can start to just pull things out or place things to where they need to be, or allow your vessel with your awareness to flesh this out. So all in all, before we revisit these steps, right? Because we're going to do this in a practice. So if you haven't had some water or something to hydrate yourself with, please have some water now. Because as Orthoa mentioned, it is very, very, it can drain you, and water is going to help the energy flow through you that much better without drying you up, right? Or it will, yeah. Put some water in the tank. Also, if you are wearing any jewelries, bracelets, rings, watches, earrings, necklaces, or anything like that, I highly recommend removing those at this very moment as well, if you can do so safely, because that interference of the, again, this is going to be a lot of focus, right? When we're focusing on self-healing, we need to really have that focus going there. And we don't want our vibration affected by any other thing. So if you can remove that safely, I highly recommend that you do so. Vladimira, you say healing can be very hard, especially layers on my heart when I open up. Just wow. Oh, that's that ripple effect I was talking about earlier, you guys. Like, yeah, healing can be incredibly hard on you, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those kind of bits and pieces, and it's exhausting. But we can also accelerate heart healing at the same time. You just got to know what you're ready for. Alrighty. So, let's move back up to step 1, and let me just pull this up a little bit so you can see the top there. All right. So firstly, we're going to go through all of these steps here. I am going to be teaching and instructing at the same time. However, if you want to keep your eyes nice and closed, or please pop in and give your feedback whenever it is required, or if you want to just give your feedback or ask a question or whatever, then pop out of it and do so. But you can go right back in just as easily. For those of you who do want to participate in this, I will be there with you. And we're going to, well, I'm going to basically be touching my, my right hand is going to touch your heart space to give you a little bit of boost of sensitivity and energy so that you can feel it and start to get a little bit, just let the energy start flowing a little bit more frequently or more easily at that point. If you do not require my assistance, that's fine. All I need you to do is you can either say it in your mind or say it out loud. Just be like, nope, that's fine. I'm going to do this by myself today. And I'll be like, that's cool too. I appreciate it. I respect it. Like, yeah, much love. All right. So we have our, what am I going to say? We have our water. We have our jewelry off. We are ready to go. We're going to be going through these steps fairly quickly, just so we can stay on time. So if you are like, oh shit, that went too fast, then I do recommend that you rewatch this video and literally go through the steps one by one, just like listen, pause, feel, listen, pause, feel, and go from there. I have a room that's open, and I'm getting people saying hi in that room, and I'm like, where is this room? I don't know what it is. But anyway, so let's get going. So I'm just going to put this here. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to breathe. Right? We are going to take some, like a good amount, like 4 or 5 really nice deep breaths in. And let it go. The purpose of these breaths is to cleanse the energy inside of you. So just think that as you are breathing in, you are breathing in beautiful healing light, and you are letting go anything that is not serving you, that is going to cause you blockages, anything like that. You're just letting it all go. And with each exhale, you are going to relax. Now, as you are breathing, I am going to come and touch your heart space. So what you can imagine is while you're breathing is that I'm right in front of you. If you do not want to participate, that's absolutely fine. I'll know that you're not participating. Otherwise, see me in front of you, and I'm going to be as I am, and I'm going to take my hand here. It's going to be glowing bright and white, and I'm simply just going to touch your chest. So keep breathing. Focus on your heart space. Focus on that bright white light inside your chest space, and just feel. It's going to start to feel a little like, oh, something's there. Oh, there's a little tingle there, right? Focus on that, and where we are. Okay, some of you may have a little giggle in you as I did that. I can feel that. Nice little bloop. I'm here. That's good. Elio, you say that's odd. What is odd, my dear? If you are going through any troubles right now, this is the time to say it. We are nice and connected. I have touched your heart space. Wherever, regardless of wherever you are, it has been done if you are accepting for today. So, now that we are nice and connected and you are nice and relaxed, you can do this with your eyes open, but I do recommend doing it with your eyes closed just because it is going to be that much easier to feel. So in order, the room you mentioned, oh, I know, right, Elio? Like, I'm just like, I keep getting notifications that people are in a room that I have, and I'm like, I'm not there. Anyway, but that's fine. That's another story. So, okay. Let us first identify. So step one is we are identifying either through the material or the ethereal what the issue is. So, sorry, I've got to do this with you, right? So, all right, let's shake it off. Let's shake it off. Feel your vessel in this moment. And when I say feel your vessel, I just mean take an awareness of how everything feels. So you can start from your feet and work your way up, and just kind of like from your toes, and you're going to your ankles, your shins, your knees, your thighs, your hips, and just kind of like, if it feels like you're like, oh, I don't feel anything, or it feels good or anything, then you know you're fine. However, if you, as you're going up and again going into your tummy, your guts, your groins, your chest, your arms, legs, throat, face, head, everything, third eye, and just kind of feel it. Take note of the places that don't feel good, right? So if you start to feel blockages, and they usually feel like pressure, as if somebody's poking you, or maybe you got hit there, or like it's a bruised area, or it could start to feel a little numb, or as if you've got pins and needles in specific places. Or it can also feel very hot, as if like, oh my gosh, okay, this is burning up there, right? Whatever it is, just take note and feel it. All right. So now that now that you've identified where it specifically is, we now need to identify whether it is the material or the ethereal. Now, if it is the material, you are more than likely, and with your own focus and how we do this, you're going to get a vision come through. All right. So I want you to kind of think, show me what it is or where it's coming from. If you start to see things that look materially real, right? So let's say you get a vision of tissues, or like it looks like flesh, then you'll know it is the material. Or if it looks real, you'll know it's the material. However, if you start seeing things like colors, auras, or illusions of things, I say illusions, but if you're seeing something that doesn't look like a human vessel, then you'll know that it is an ethereal issue that is going on. So take a moment and just, as you are focusing on the places that hurt you, pick one spot and then focus on that and just be like, is it material or is it ethereal? And see what comes through. Allow a vision to just simply come up. And when I say allow a vision, it's kind of the same way, or what you can do is visualize that you have a TV, right? Or you have a TV. And as you turn that TV on, you are open to seeing whatever pops up on there, right? Whatever it may be. So allow it to come through. Okay. So now that you are aware of what it is that is going on, we are going to move down to step 2, focus and visualization. All right. Now that you have the vision as to what it is, I want you to focus on it the same way that let's say if you have a stick and you're just inspecting the stick, try to look at all of the details that are on this area that you are seeing, or whatever it is that you're seeing. So now all you're doing is you're not trying to fix anything just yet. You're just trying to see it for what it is. Identify it, look at it. Is it, if you're seeing something in the material, such as an artery or a vein, or a tube, or just tissues, right? Observe it. Is it slimy? Is it smooth? Is it, does it look healthy, right? Is it nice and pink, or is it bruised and dark and reddish, or is there black there? Does it look like it's damaged? Whatever it is. And if it is the colors, or if you are seeing something in the ethereal, right? Does it, and I know this is very, this can be a little bit difficult. However, try your very best with this. Does it seem to you, does it seem violent? Does it seem dark? Or does it seem vibrant and really colorful? Does it have texture? Does it have motion? Is it thick? Is it thin? Is it mist-like? Whatever it is, if that is what you're seeing ethereally, observe it, all right? Just observe. Okay. This is also strengthening your clairvoyancy at the same time. It's a really, really good skill to have. So keep that vision and keep just looking around, right? Focus can be really hard for some people because they think that they need to focus on the dot. But it's like, nah, you're just in the specific area and keep the energy moving. Just look around in that area, right? And keep that going. Okay. Step number 3. We are now going to open your eye and let it be free. All right. This is going to be an important one. So as you are now seeing and you're observing, I want you to make an intent or a kind of a promise to yourself that you are just observing. You are letting it go wherever it wants to, whatever it wants to show you, whatever happens next. You are allowing the energy to do what it needs to do. Okay, so we are freeing our perspective, freeing our mind's eye at this moment to allow it to do what it needs to do. Okay, that's all you need is just that intention. Keep observing, keep focusing on the area, but keep that in your heart and in your intent. That it's like, all right, I'm just watching. Whatever we're doing, I'm just watching. Okay. Step number 4, direct the energy and the healing. So with what you have done so far, let's go back to it. You've identified where the pain was coming from. You've identified if it's material or ethereal. You've focused and visualized what it is. And now you're seeing, and you've made an aware statement within yourself whether you want that in your vessel or not, or whether it needs repair or not. Okay, so now we are going to, and your mind is open to go where it's going. So now you are going to direct the energy. And this is a little bit difficult, but hopefully it's going to be easy for some, maybe a little bit difficult for others. So with whatever you are seeing, I want you to now say heal, or close, or accelerate, or I give you permission to use the energy for whatever it is that you require, vessel. Whatever. So the intention is basically, the direction is whatever makes you feel good to solve whatever it is that you're seeing. Okay. So again, some of you are going to see the energy in the material or the ethereal. So this is another one. If you are I guess whichever one you're visualizing, simply say, go to a state of health, your pristine state, optimal health, right? Have that in your mind's eye, and of course, as your eye is open, you're going to see it formulate, right? Some of you are probably already like, yep, we're there, I've done it. So again, as you're directing that, as you've told it what we're doing, you're now going to keep and maintain the focus until it is complete, okay? Until you no longer feel what you originally felt when you first did the identification, right? You're letting it go. You're allowing, and you're keeping your vision on it. Watch this movie all the way through. Watch the healing process all the way through. Watch your energy do exactly what you're directing it to do. Okay? I'm just going to check in with you guys now as we're keeping our focus and our vision maintained. Okay, so about 20% of you are having a little bit of trouble following this, so I'm going to definitely advise that you go back to it. If you are having trouble at this very moment, please pop in the comments as to why. Charmin, I can't get my Facebook to work correctly. Oh, bless you, sweet pea. Facebook's just being a dick in general. So don't worry, you can totally watch the replay. at this, and fast forward wherever you can. I'm going to do my best to get these downloaded too. Let's have a feel. I'm just going to do a little bit of help with some of you here. Tamiki, sweetheart, if you're following along, I need you to relax a little bit more. Jared, you actually have good control over your third eye, which is lovely. So well done. All right, so if you are finding it hard to see, it's either because we are holding on. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, oh, Nicole, sweet pea, I was just about to check in on you there. I'm like, it's a little bit hard. That's why I was like, it's hard to see. So try to loosen up and stop projecting what you should see, right? Really watch this sucker like a movie, right? We're looking at the physical right now, or the ethereal, but whatever it is, allow it to simply be. So even if what you're seeing is simply a black box or a black area, accept that you're seeing a black box, right? Or just a black area, because that is exactly what you should be seeing or healing at this very moment, right? But it's about letting it go. Right? So just loosen up the grip on what should happen, and just allow it to flow through. So, Clareston, sticky tar black material like dirt from the ocean covering more than 3/4 of the vessel from right to left, except face, crown, and feet area. Yes, excellent observation, Clareston. That's telling you that you definitely have some ethereal healing going, because you're full of the negative energy is covering your vessel, right? Your head is still afloat. So kind of like, I want you to think, what if you were dipped in tar? Technically your head is up, you can still breathe, but the rest of your vessel is submerged, and you got to get yourself out of that. All right? So I'm going to advise that as you are channeling this energy now, to remove it through your all in your will, which we are going to we're gonna do that one in just a moment as well. Okay, so all right, and Tamiki, yeah, you're here. All right, excellent. Okay, so now that you've identified these things, and let's say you are able to, if we went through the whole healing process where we're like, okay, you have allowed your vessel to, you've allowed your heart to show you with the healing that is needed. Now is the part of releasing, right? You release it and you let that shit go, because that healing is now going to be in process. Okay? All right. So, and then Clareston, you say it's shifting again from left to right and removing from the body and vanishing. Oh, excellent. So you're already doing it. Fantastic. Keep the vision going. Allow everything to flesh out. So Clareston, you're going to look at yourself until you look all nice and clear. All right? Keep the vision there. You don't want even a spot of that black shit on you anymore. Vladimira, white wall next to my heart. Try to breaking and use sending universe with a third eye. So white wall next to the heart. Try breaking, and oh, you've got a shield. You've got a shield up with your crown. Okay, so same kind of thing. Allow the vision to come through, Vladimir, sweet pea, and see what's going to happen with that wall. Sometimes we think that that wall should be broken. Other times it may need to be dissolved. Other times it could just be like, oh, maybe it needs to be cleaned. So allow your vessel, allow your heart to tell you what it is that needs to be done at this very moment. Because again, especially ethereal healing, we could see some shit sometimes. We're like, what the fuck is going on? All right. So now that we have that, if you're at that stage where you're like, okay, I've watched everything funnel through, I've watched it all go, all right, and now everything seems fine, we are letting it go and releasing. All right. How did you find that, by the way? So pop on and let me know how you actually found that. And the last couple of minutes that we're going to take, we're actually going to do another quick exercise as well. But just let me know. Before I move on, though, I just want to make sure that everybody was able to get through that all right. And if you're kind of like wondering, like, how is this accelerating healing? All I did was a visualization. All I did was focus a little bit on this image that I'm seeing. That is horriance. Your focus. So I want you to think when you're going through anything, right? Your focus upon that increases its energetic capacity. That's why your focus is your energy, is your currency. And you focus on people you don't like, it grows energy that you do not enjoy being around. You focus on things that you love, you feel joyous, you feel happy, those things that you love grow, right? So the fact that you are focusing on this with that intent means that you are automatically flushing energy to that. So if you've just watched with the manifestation of a cut being healed, a neck being corrected, or a spine being aligned, or those bits and pieces, then best know that you have just accelerated that healing, right? And it will be better within only a few days, or however long, again, what we're talking about here, however long it requires. So let's have a look here. Oh, it's gone from my heart, moved to my third eye, and with pain moved away. Ah, excellent, excellent. Oh, I'm glad it's gone. Yay, Vladimir, you got that going. Okay, excellent. Everybody needs to let it go. Kista, definitely gonna rewatch. My dang bell was growling. My dang bell was growling so bad I couldn't phone us. Darn it, eating now. Oh, your belly was growling. Yes, this is it though. Like I say, energy is required. Have some water, have some food. Make sure you have the capacity to let it go. All right, so yes, eat something. I agree. Okay, so last exercise that we are going to be doing is how to, like I mentioned, flush out a bacteria or a foreign body that is coming into your vessel. So again, thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. So again, this is if you feel like I'll tell you some reasons why I use this method to flush things out. So for example, if I am out in a public setting, now my energy, my frequency is pretty darn high. So most things, like literally, if I put my hand in water, everything moves away from me. You know, like if I go to the lake and I put my hand in water, debris goes around me. It doesn't like to touch me because my field of energy is constantly pushing things away. But generally though, if I know that I'm like, ooh, let's say I have to use a public washroom or something like that. And trust me, as an individual who, well, you don't have to trust me, but I'm going to say, as an individual who feels negative energy, which includes viruses, bacteria, illness, lower frequency organisms, yeah, it feels really gross, and I don't like to touch a lot of things because I'm like, ew, unless I have water and stuff. But what I can do is literally on a door handle or so forth, if I touch it, or if I touch something that I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't really want to touch that, but whatever, it's there, I will accelerate I will cause the energy to heat up so much, right, with that acceleration, that frequency or that thing or that bacteria or whatever it was can't survive the heat, can't survive the frequency of that, of what's going on. Kind of like if you were to take a person and just be like, oh, you know, that's nice, you're there, and then start shaking them, right? So I just think, like, if something came and picked you up and just went, your brain would go nuts, you'd be like, ah, and you'd probably perish and die because of the violent shaking that's going on. And that's basically what you're doing to the bacteria, and sometimes it burns it off completely, and other times it just like kills it, and then it flushes through your vessel, right? Don't apologize, Keisty, you gotta go get some food, girl. Clareston, pinching pain in lower spine, heaviness, burning in sacral and solar, burning throat, burn on the third eye area. Yes. By the way, when you do accelerate your healing, other things happen with it. So if you were, so Clareston, you were just clearing out all of that black sludge and stuff away from you, right? As it was switching and going. So as it is clearing out, now you are feeling the physical ramifications on your vessel because of that clearing. Everything follows a chain cycle and a chain pattern. So for example, if I wanted to heal my lower back, best know that probably my toes, so I would send the energy to my lower back because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like I need that. I need that pain to stop going. Well, the pain actually originated because my balance was off. Because one foot is shorter than the other and I'm walking lopsided. So that's what's actually causing the pain. So when I'm healing my back, my feet, my toes are also going to go into healing and start getting more alignment. So I'm going to feel the pain there too as I've accelerated that healing to give way for this one to work it out. So I hope that makes sense. Alrighty. So now let's look at burning off bacteria and things. We are going to use the same process that we used up here, but we are going to now isolate it to specifically foreign bodies that we do not want inside our vessels, because if we allow them inside our vessels, illness can occur, especially if we are lower in energy. So we want to get this shit out. All right. So breathing again, we are going to get back into our state of visualization and meditation in that kind of way. And this time I want you to, we're going to kind of do a little bit of a scan. This is the identifying part. So going back up to step 1, except for our focus this time is going to be on the material. So have that in your intention. You want to find foreign bodies, bacteria, or also foreign entities, such as, the chemtrails that we sprayed, that get sprayed down. Sometimes they actually have little microbots or nanobots in them, and they call it dust, right? And you breathe that in, and you are breathing in these microbots. They've tried that, and it didn't really work as well. It caused us confusion. It caused us some stuff, and this is why they want us to inject it into us now, because it's going to be faster to get a huge dose of microbots than it is to just have us randomly breathe them in. So anyway, so I want you to think in your intent, in your mind's eye, that you are going to identify all harmful foreign entities, foreign bodies that are either on your vessel or in your vessel at this very moment in time. So with that being your intention, close your eyes, see yourself, right? I want you to imagine that you are looking right at yourself, and literally all of the, it may be a little different for some of you, but however, I'm going to put this in there. Let's program this a little bit. I would like you to, when you are seeing yourself, all of the foreign bodies are going to light up. For each foreign body that we do not want, that is harmful to us, we're not trying to get rid of the good bacteria, we're trying to get rid of the bad shit, right, that may be on us or inside of us. Every single one is going to glow like a little bit of a light, right? So kind of the way that, when you look down from the earth on a dark at nighttime, and you see all the lights from the cities and so forth, so you know where there's a condensed population of people, that's what you're going to be looking at. Your whole vessel is the world at this moment, and you are seeing the virus or bacteria, and they are going to light up. Okay, so let's visualize and identify. Okay. Now, once you've seen all of those little lights, right, we are just going to focus on that vision that we're having. So focus on them, all right? And kind of like, and this is where we kind of get into, imagine it's like you have a camera, and I want you to focus on one of those areas, or wherever it came up to you, wherever the little lights were shown, and again, being very open, you're going to be very open to the mind's eye as to what you are about to see. Okay, it may look like little bugs. You may see little robots. You may see whatever that may be. It may be like it looks like little cells floating around. Whatever that is, focus on an area and imagine it's like zooming in. All right, zoom into that area, and just with your awareness, you're kind of like, zoom in. Let me see what it is. All right. Allow the vision to come in. Let's do that now. Okay. Now, as you have the vision of what it is, all right, we are now going to allow our mind's eye to be free. Okay? So, and what we're doing is, as our mind's eye is free, we're going to be like, okay, I accept what it is that I'm seeing, and I want to see more. Show me more as to whatever is going to happen next. We are open and we are ready for this. And then we're going to go straight on to number 4, which is we're now going to direct the healing energy. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to start to raise the vibration. All right. At this point, you are going to expend a fair amount of energy, right? As we are focused and getting into that area, right? So I want you to imagine whatever it is that you're seeing. Imagine you have a bright white light that is now flooding around it, okay? And keep pumping that light in there. That light is just like really hot, and the more you pump into it, the more it's going to vibrate and shake whatever it is that you are seeing, okay? Now, for some of you, you may not see a light. Maybe you'll see something in the elements. Maybe you'll see fear, or you may see darkness that wants to come in there. Flood it with your light. Just to like literally imagine that there is such a bright white light shining on it, and now it is just being flooded with it. It's surrounded by it. It cannot escape this light. It is literally invoking, the light is invoking everything that you are seeing. Okay? Now, as we're going to do that, pay attention to how that area feels at the same time. All right, so keep the vision in your mind's eye. We're going to, and this is the part where we're going to keep our focus. Keep that light there. All right, whatever you do, keep the light going in there. At any point, if you feel that you are skilled enough, you can zoom out just to see what you look like, which you should in whatever area that you're healing. You should see it glow like really phenomenally at that point. But once you're finished, go zoom right back in, and we can go right back to where we started. You know, I'm also seeing as well that some of you may not have the bright white light, but perhaps you see fire. Perhaps you see one of the supporters of life. If you see fire, imagine that fire getting hotter, right? And burn that shit to the ground, right? Whatever is inside you, just burn it. Like if you see fire, see fire. If you see water that is drowning it, see water, right? If you see air that is sucking the life out of it or cleansing it that way, allow it to come through. If you see, well, you probably won't see rock or earth, but if you do see something just crushing it, then by all means, allow it to happen. Now, you also may hear screeching in your ears. Oftentimes when I'm doing these kinds of things, especially because you're going to it on a microscopic level, right? So you are really there and it's really big. I hear the screeching of these foreign things. It sounds like squealing, like, you know, in the special effects movies, or, you know, the alien movies or whatever, where like they're dying and they're like, ah! And I'm like, that's what I hear, and I'm like, yeah, burn, you little. All right. So now once you've done that, we are now going to release. Okay? Now that that vision is complete, now that we've done that release, and know that you've done exactly what you needed to do. You have now just burnt off anything that has come into you. You have now burnt off those bacteria that may not have been, or may have been trying to provoke you into feeling ill and sick and so forth. However, I will say this. When you are finished, after you've done this, after you have killed any bacteria that has been on you or inside of you, or any foreign body or any foreign object or whatever, it does need to process out of you. Okay? So once if it's dead, that's great, but now you have to allow your vessel to remove it. So if it's externally, having a shower is wonderful, or a bath just to allow it to wash off of you. If it is internal, that you have just burnt it off, you will expel it. So expect either runny nose, tickle in the throat, a lot of pooping, a little nausea or whatever as your vessel starts to flush out this stuff. So allow your facilitate or allow your vessel to do it. So if you know that you're like, oh shit, I just did accelerated healing and now my nose is just running and so forth, drink some water, drink some tea, hydrate yourself, give your vessel enough energy and enough fuel to help process and expel it. Eat more fruits, more vegetables. That helps you expel a lot of things, right? And you'll find that afterwards you're like, holy fuck, I feel pretty good, you know? Orthoa, working on the right shoulder while left in physical, it's got me sweating and coughing. Yeah. Yep. Because again, especially if, and I will say this as well, ethereal energy, whenever you get that fear that you're actually processing out as well, that can also leave you with aches and pains and the sniffles, runny noses, headaches, or whatnot as it's being pushed out of you. Say, and I'll go back to the ripple analogy, as I was talking about earlier. Once you've done that to your core, all of that nastiness is now going to ripple out of you and come to the surface to be released. If you're clairsentient or you've got the smell, gustant, or the taste, you may start to smell like, ooh, what is that smell? And it's the aura of the dead bacteria or the dead things that are coming out of you at that time. Or the yucky energy that is being released so that you can be cleansed at the same time. So, Clairston, you heard the screeching? Yeah, it's really, really weird. You're just like, oh, is this like Alien versus Predator or something? But it's interesting. So many people, they don't realize that you can heal yourself in these ways. I've not been sick since 2017. Has my nose ran and have I had the tickle in my throat? Of course, but they're ascension symptoms. But can I say that I've actually ever went back to a time when I'm like, oh, I'm sick, I gotta lay in bed. Fuck no. I don't gotta do nothing of that, right? You don't have to go to, don't get me wrong, you can definitely go to a healer. I'm a healer, you're more than welcome to come to me, but you don't have to, right? You can do these things at home. Vladimir, was my grief and pain next to my heart from a broken heart? It's tingling now next to the heart and feeling heat and strong. My heart got the pulse. Woo! Nice. That's awesome. I'm so pleased, Vladimir. That's excellent. Oh, Joyce, don't worry. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the lesson at the moment, so you're going to have to watch the replay. But it is some good things. So I will just, again, I have to emphasize on this. If you are being forced or coerced or whatever, manipulated into taking the vaccination where you really didn't want to, as you can at this very moment work that practice that we just mentioned right there, right? And think of the vaccine and let your vision guide you to what the shit is in that, and if it is harmful for you, you're going to be able to see it, right? You're going to be able to see what's going on and like, oh, my vessel doesn't want this inside me, and literally burn that shit off. If you vibrate really high, you will basically shut down the electrical systems that are in the little microbots that are in the vaccine, right? Because again, it's being used as a track and trace device to monitor you, to do things. And it's one, because like at the moment, your phone is used for these things. They monitor all these things about you via your phone. However, you can put your phone down, or let's say your phone doesn't work and so forth. They're doing this with the vaccinations so that you're always online, right? And you can't escape it. But so as what we do, if we don't want anything in our any bullshit in our vessels, we have every single right to be like, fine, if you're gonna make me put this in me, I'm gonna burn it off, right? So rendering it ineffective. The little microbots will take a minute to process out because they're all over your system, so they're going to have to flush out. So again, lots of poop and lots of pee and lots of exhaustion as it's flushing out, but it will flush out and it won't work anymore. Just keep giving yourself high frequency foods, giving yourself love, care, You know, build your energy, because that is going to protect you from absolutely anything that is out there. And do I want to say I guarantee it? I do guarantee it. You know, as long as you have the energy to exchange for your health, you can do what you need to do, right? Are you going to be good? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're just like, oh, I want to test this, I'm going to drink a bottle of bleach. Don't do that. You know, but if there's any, like, on a natural kind of scale, diseases, bacteriums, these kinds of things, microbots and shit, you can disable them, disarm them, and be just fine. All right. It may take some people longer than others, because again, it just depends on how much energy you have. For example, if that shit was injected into me, I would literally, as you know, as they are, that's how fast I'd be like, burn off. Also, if, for example, and I'm just going to put this out here for the ladies as well. Let's say you had an interaction with a gentleman and there was ejaculation that came in. As a woman, you can shut down his sperm inside of you, because once it's in there, focus on their semen, and you'll be able to see them active. And what you do is kind of like an EMP. You short circuit the sperm, and it'll cause it to be dead. It'll still be up there, but again, your vessel will just let it go. I'm putting that out there just as a, oh, that's interesting. So let's say if you have a consistent partner that you're with, that you guys do, you know, have some wonderful times with, and next time there is some release that's going on, try it. If you're not trying to get pregnant. If you're trying to get pregnant, don't do that. But if you're not trying to get pregnant, or let's say you are on birth control, but you're just like, I wonder how that works. I wonder what that's like. You know, then literally, the sooner the better. Focus on the sperm or whatever the deposit that has been made. It'll be in that area and everything, and you'll see that it's really, really bright. And then literally just with your intent, you're just like, disable, shut down, burn out, just whatever it is, whatever the shutdown looks like to you, because as you are communicating with it, that's what's going to make it really really effective, right? And then you'll feel it. You'll feel it. It almost that light that was shining just goes, and it gets really, really dim, and then it's nothing, and you're like, oh, all right then. So there's something to think about. Shut up. You're very welcome. Again, that does require extra energy though. So I recommend that that's something that you experiment with, but do so safely. If you're not trying to get pregnant, still use, protection, still use precautions in that kind of way, but just experiment and feel. And as you get, as you start to really do the things that you're doing, then you can be like, oh yeah, no, I'm confident enough in what I'm doing to activate and deactivate and do all that jazz. Okay. Oops, sorry guys. There we go. I think that is basically all that we've got going for today then. So thank you so much. I know I've kept you over time by a few minutes here, so I appreciate you so very much. If you do need extra advice or assistance upon your spiritual journey, you are more than welcome to follow the link in the description to book in a private session with me, 30 minutes or an hour, or even the accelerated evolution session as well. Whatever it is that you require, then we can help you out in that kind of way. So please, by all means, do so. If you would like to send a donation or a gift for this session, then you are more than welcome to do so, and that is very much appreciated as well. And I thank you ever so much for that. It's encouraging to keep going. But that is basically it. So everybody, enjoy your Sundays. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Next class is on Tuesday. Not quite sure exactly what we are going to be talking about on Tuesday just yet, but we will have a lesson at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. in the UK, and 5 p.m. Pacific, PST. Alrighty. And if you are unable to watch it, do not worry. Please just look at the replay. Right? All of the videos, all of the old classes are on my profile. If you just click on the video section, they may not be labeled, but usually if you see an hour to an hour and a half, that's when you know it's going to be a lesson, and literally just go through those suckers and you can find all the old lessons. They are deleted after 30 days, but still, whatever we can do to get the knowledge in there. Sharing is caring, and thank you so much for those of you who have shared this out. Hopefully more individuals will learn how to do some accelerated healing. Alrighty, have a wonderful time, have a wonderful day, take care of yourselves. Mwah. Love you to pieces. Bye, honey buns.